Welcome. Hello.
All right, everybody, we are here, late, but here. I blame I blame the fantastic weekend day known as Mother's Day. There, that's what it is. So, long story made short, we are going to be doing Lego today, and at some point we shall see the fine team from the Dadcraft Discord jumping on in at some point. No clue exactly when that will be, but everybody's welcome as always. So an alt, do I get this to fit? Yes, maybe, kinda, sorta. All right. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. The instructions are a little weird today in that they do not want to quite fit on the screen. So I'm a little surprised by that. But that's okay. The PDF is what the PDF is. It will do. Shinigami just finishing battle. Tell him to take his time. I'm just making sure that the instructions are all where we need them to be. Name. Properties. Okay, so I'm just doing things as we speak. I enjoyed my coffee and I enjoyed catching up. Well, I shouldn't say enjoyed. I was catching up on a lot of Scout stuff that was just in my face. And so it was a little bit of a weird start to the day. Is that centered enough? Yeah, that'll do. Close that one for now. And do I geek hide? No, I did not. You had a barbecue today. Awesome! You have 4 ads. I'm very sorry to hear that. Ads stink. On the bright side, though, the more ads, the less ads you get later, if that makes any sense. It's frustrating as all get out, and I do apologize for that. I just let Twitch do it. I told them I wanted as little as possible, but then they give you a lot of ads. It's kind of annoying how that works. Okay. So, that said, I'm going to have time to say hello to everybody. I'm just trying to see if I can find a decent picture of this one, because the picture on the front of the page I had was kind of ugly. Okay, 75959. There we go. Come on, Lego. Load, please. Let's see, No! It's like, you get to the website, and what do they want to give you? They want to give you a survey. It's like, no, not right now, please, thank you. You are bad timing. Okay, let's see if we can get this. No, I don't want that. WebP is not fun. Open in new tab. And then save as not. Aw. Shoot. Okay. Save image as. Yeah, still a WebP. Dang it. I hate it when that happens. Models. You're over halfway until you get your own command. Yes, indeed. Which is always fun. Let's see. Oh, whoops, wrong screen. No. Crush that. Save image as. I want to put this up on our screen. That's why you're getting a lot of, like, chitty-chatty from me while I'm getting the last couple pieces up on the Lego page. Oh well. Okay, so set image, properties, browse. Was this going to actually look good? We'll see. Open. Maybe. Maybe. Nope. That's okay. It'll do. It'll do. All right, so let's get on to the main screen, and we'll see what we've got for today. Let's see, instructions. No, what's that?
Greetings.
Got something selected on the screen that I don't know what I got selected. Oh, that, okay. And greetings, good day to you. All right, so let me just project these instructions. No, I want to trim this, please. Not stream weekend. That's a place to start, though. In the meantime, that drop in, please. Close enough. There we go. All right, I am ready to start with this. Maybe. So we'll go with the stream weekend. You guys get to see the wrong day. Okay, let's turn that off. I thought I fixed that yesterday. That's okay. Things happen. Properties, 0.20, browse, 05 please, not 04. This one, open. There we go. For that. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. So we're on the right-hand side of that. And all that said, I think we're finally ready, more or less. Just make sure the Lego screen. Hide that briefly. Aside from me being all blurry, I think we can go with it. Where's the face cam? Where did you go? Properties. Nope. Come on, properties. Of course. Okay. Chat, where did you go? There we go. Finally. Finally. Deactivate. Reactivate. And we be interesting. So the face cam does not want to go non-blurry. That could really stink for today. Aha, much better. Lego. All right. Truth be told, we are actually going to the real screen. Really? Maybe. All right, let's take this off and get us going over. Oops, over here. Yes. Welcome. Hello. So, first here officially, in quotes, is Valenti Productions with the lovely little sound. So what do we got? Anybody else? Okay, so welcome on into Fantastic Sherlock Box. Welcome to Valenti and to CT. Welcome on in as well. I do apologize for all those crazy ads. Shinigami can come over whenever he's done, but no rush. We are doing the Dadcraft73 stream weekend, as you guys saw from the poster. And in that Dadcraft73 group, we've been given the green light to go ahead and do whatever we want. So we've got a permit. Aside from it must be family friendly, it does not have to be a game. So we've got everybody doing things from like, we've had Phasmophobia, we've had the game I forget the name of that Shinigami Morocco is currently working on. And then we've had, in the past we had bookends being created, we've had other crafts, so there's all kinds of things going on in that community. Of late, you guys are well aware I'm a Harry Potter fan. No, I'm not adjusting the shirt for that reason, but just reminded me to adjust it. And so, as a Harry Potter fan, I have a huge ton of Lego in the background. Let me just quickly slip over here. You can kind of see some of it. Oop, over my shoulder in that one. Yes, messy desk. But yeah, there's some of the Lego in the back there. And this is the cam that you see me with in Lego. So yeah, we got a lot of it. And today we will be doing Hedwig. Hedwig. He's full size. Well, not full size, but he is 630 pieces. So if I do not actually sort into trays this time, we have a small chance of getting through it in the next hour and 45 minutes. This set is very fun to build, but mine's all destroyed in my Lego box. Ooh! Yeah, I'm one for whom I may be a... what's the word? I may be a Lego fan collector person, but for the most part, once things get set, they're generally becoming dioramas for me, so I don't actually take them apart. So they get really dusty. Like, I suspect my best Christmas present would probably be a recurring subscription to flats of canned air. I haven't cleaned my stuff in a long time, but I really should because I probably have allergy issues going on with that. But in any case, let's just get right to it because we're going to be here for a little bit. I keep promising and never delivering. I'm putting up a poll for what I'm going to be doing on my Fridays, which tend to be Lego. Part of the problem is I want to grab screenshots of all of them, kind of like the little one you see in the corner there. I was hoping to get higher quality ones than just the box cover art for things, but I might have to do that, just go with the box cover art. I was going to photo my own, and I'm just not that organized. So yeah, that's part of why there hasn't been a poll, and also that every time I go, oh yeah, for sure, it'll be today, this time for sure, Rocky. Then I find some reason where I preempt the poll by making a decision myself to use one. So for example, today, or last month I chose the Up House without running a poll. This month I chose to do the Hedwig without running a poll. Yeah. So I owe you guys a poll, but it just has not happened in a coon's age. I keep hitting the camera, so if it keeps moving, you'll have to let me know. So we've got a good sized book today, and I really should scan that for all the points, but I'm going to let Fox do it, because then they get the points on the account we actually spend on. But this one appears to be, it's a very good set, but it appears to be old enough that it doesn't have a little progress bar guy across the bottom. That said, let's zip all the way to the back here. We have, it says 144 pages, but yeah, there's only about 142 of actual instructions. So we've got step 216. Ooh, raiders are coming in. Yippee skippy! Welcome on in, drop rating. So if anybody who's sitting here and wants to get on that drop, just type !drop and you can join in too. As I will right here. Whoop. There we go. Whee! Welcome on in, raiders. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully you guys had a great time. Shinigami, I apologize. I forgot the name of the game you were playing. Because it seems to be you're a variety PC-only streamer. And I'm not familiar with Hades 2, so I don't know anything about that game. But how did the stream go? How did the stream go today? We are working on, as you guys can see, we'll be doing the Hedwig build today. I apologize for the white on white screen in the background. I was looking for an image. Where is the Lego image? Don't have all of the picture in there. Why do I have that cropped? Interesting. It seems to be cropped. That's odd. That was not what I saw when I flipped it. Okay. You're seeing the Hedwig in there. There is also a little tiny Harry Potter stand thing on the side, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. So let's get in this. Let's see. Drop. Shinny Raid! Good afternoon, Mel. Good to see you. Yeah, you don't have to worry in here about any Stacy's mom business, aside from me saying it just that once. It's all good. And Tom doesn't have to worry about having it going on. And if I can actually get into the bag, oh my. Dylan is like bag challenge today. There we go. Went well, beat the final boss for the first time. Ooh, the first time is great when you're able to do that on stream. That's always a treat. So Hades is a sequel to the roguelite games? Or roguelike games. Based on stories about children of Hades. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I saw that it was a very pixelated style game, so I wasn't entirely sure what was going on the brief amount I was there. I do apologize for not hanging out in stream for a whole lot of time. I started to, and then I had to mute things and sort of ignore it just because, pardon me, I had a bunch of scout stuff come up. As we start to wind down towards the end of our scouting, I shouldn't say at the end of our scouting year, but the end of the active portion of the scouting year, people start to bug each other, and everybody, particularly the scout leaders who are pretty remiss in staying up on our payments on behalf of our youth. They start bugging us about, could you please catch up? We need to do our books. So I was busy dealing with that and unfortunately missed the tail end of the stream. I could blame Mother's Day, but that would only be me choosing to relax and do those payment things while I was having breakfast rather than brunch, rather than actually actively paying attention to what I should be doing. All right, so I'm, yeah, caught the clock, my phone goes ding, and I'm like, oh, crumb. So we ran. That's okay, I heard you were finishing up the battle. It's totally worth seeing right through to the end in that case. In the first game of Hades, Zagreus attempts, I'm going to say it wrong, but Zagreus attempts to escape Hades to find his estranged mother. In Hades 2, Melano has to dive into the depths of Tartarus to confront her grandfather Kronos and free her parents and brother. Interesting. I'm not up on my mythology, but that sounds like an interesting set of twists. Twists and turns. Alright, so we've got most of this stuff sorted in a way that I can at least find parts, and that's the key. And we'll be shoving piles aside as we go. Just the nature of being Delenn. Okay, so it sounds almost like the E is silent in Zagreus. Almost. My pronunciation's probably a little off. I know people who would really heavily emphasize that, but then Zagreus or Zagreus sounded kind of odd in my brain. Yeah. Actually, I will admit, there was a smidge of a speculation going on last night between Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I about the possibilities for Amnator's real name, given that she successfully poked James into ditching part of his name that he had been going by. And so, yeah, I can totally get that I shouldn't be playing dangerous games like that, just because being right is a bit of a, in that case, would be a bit of a privacy invasion, and I don't like the concept, so yeah. This is sort of weird. Okay, they give you Harry's head, which is kind of freaked out, and that's stupid to have it freaked out on a build that's just a statue of the character, so we're probably going to use this side. They give you his torso, which is nicely printed up. I don't know about you guys, but I've not ever been one of those people that likes to have mismatched gloves to my clothing. I have favorite gloves, but then my favorite gloves are black to go with everything. But yeah, so he's got blue hands to go with his Gryffindor robes, although I will admit the scarf and the printing is quite nice. So that's all they gave you for the minifig in the main bag. There's Hedwig yet again. We have a lot of this particular Hedwig shape. It's not new. And then, where are his legs? Oh yeah, then it's the wand in the bag without his legs or his hair. It's actually funny, your own name, Shinigami Moroku, I'm going to say the whole thing for a bit, is that when we shorten it, I prefer Shinigami, whereas other people prefer Moroku. And I don't know why, it just works out that way. There was some reason at some point, I suspect, that I went that way. But once it was in my head, I couldn't get rid of it. Speaking of not getting rid of things, for those of you that saw my streams this week, I still have the song I played on, what was it, Wednesday, I guess? Stuck in my head. When I was building a odd thing in creative, known as the Rabbit's Revenge, I still have the song from that stuck in my head, which is kind of frustrating. I'm glad you're fine with either. As much as I still, answer to Del, I prefer Delenn whenever possible. It's just some people have difficulty, A, remembering it, or B, pronouncing it correctly, so I just gave up, or C, more commonly, that some people seem to prefer as few syllables as possible, and so they get it right for a while, then they just default to Del anyways. Better than Russ, because that's not... I don't get it for people who insist on using last names in this day and age. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's funny to watch Jade try. Now, when she found out about that, I don't remember making a big deal out of it in her stream, but she must have been in some other stream where I had been, because people had been totally murdering it, I tried to correct. And so she's been putting effort in since, which is very appreciated, but also mildly funny. Okay, so this one, we've got the Harry with, oops, let's go this way. The Harry with the little short, stubby, immovable legs. While I appreciate that they wanted to make him look, younger just simply chopping the legs is not the way to go, because it makes the character have to be standing all the time, and I find that rather non-functional. But that's just me. Today's quote of the day, or sorry, question of the day. What is the best vacation you ever took and why? And CT says going to Cornwall because it was lovely and it was our last holiday with your last grandfather. That's cool. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, on that vein, I wouldn't say my best holiday. I don't really know what my best holiday is. I've been to the islands of Hawaii multiple times, and I would say my best holiday there specifically was when I was in grade 7. We went with my family, took both of our grandmothers, who were both widowed by that point, and they had a blast. Okay, so we'll see how many bags we can get through today, but we're going to start with at least part 1, and then 2 seems to have a lot of the mechanics, so we'll see how far we can get. And I keep forgetting I've got one more bag to open. Yep, you're late. That's fine. I mean, if you say last, in a nuclear family, you would have had 2, so that could have been, one passed before the other. So let's go with that. All right, we've got some gold bits going on, so let's jump right into the first set of instructions. Okay, so we've got hair, body, legs. This one is actually bugging me because it's not interacting in the way that I would expect to be able to show all the instruction bits, which is bothersome to me. Interact. Okay. Trying to remember in in OBS how I get back to the non-presentation part of the screen. Hide this and then re-show it maybe and have that do it. Let's re-show this. Interact. Not particularly. Something has gone a little bit screwball. That's okay. We'll deal with it. It should be fine. But for some reason it's not showing the full height of the instructions. We'll get there. I don't know what makes it do it again. We'll figure it out at some point. All right, so we've got the hair and the legs, and then they want to give Harry his wand, which I shall not do, simply because he drops them. I have a whole lot of separated wands, so let's see if I can find one in that color. It's already separated. I have just a few. Oh, yeah. So put the double in there. I'll give him one of the singles. And this is not counting the fact that in the early Harry Potter sets, the 2011... They're making him a left-handed one? No, he's not lefty. In the early Harry Potter sets in 2011, they actually just gave him little cylinders, sticks. And they'll use those as wands. Okay. So, next. Let's actually build a base for him. All right. I mean, Sunday being Mother's Day, I do not fault anybody who is choosing to do other things rather than watching us. I am actually enjoying this as part of my Mother's Day. I find doing Lego, even though I don't have a whole lot of people to share it with when I'm doing so, looking for matched streak, not enough. A lot of these have similar streaks, so maybe I'll move one that's here. I'm being strange, but yeah, I actually enjoy doing Lego. I find it kind of relaxing and semi-cathartic, I guess you could say. So doing Lego on stream for Mother's Day is actually my thing. So this works out really well. 1, 2, 3, the 4th. There it is. So what did you do when you were in Cornwall? I've never been, but it's one of those places that I might like to go someday. I have bucket list ideas for, as we say, across the pond. Well, actually, it's more, you guys say that. But Cornwall is one of those areas I've heard some really good things about, and I've heard some really mixed things about. So I'd love to hear what you think of it. Yeah, being a Potter fan and a Sherlock Holmes fan, you would think that I would have gone overseas by now, but I've only been actually overseas once, and that was for a student exchange a long time ago, so that makes more sense. And in which case I've got to go to the Heathrow Airport and the Gatwick Airport, and frankly put, I think I enjoyed Gatwick better. Just because it's smaller. Oh, come on. 1, 2, 3. Step 1 of... Interesting. So they individually numbered Building Harry. Okay, this is the Harry section. And then we'll just set that aside. Into the main build now. All right. Step 1. There's your piece. Step 2 wants the L brackets, L shapes, with these funny wedge things. So anyways, yeah, we went to Hawaii with both of my grandmothers, which was fantastic. But it's funny because one was a swimmer, and didn't go out very far, like quite literally. I could, as a grade 7 student, I could still stand. I wasn't my full height yet, pretty close, but wasn't quite my full height yet. And I could still stand without the water being over my neck. And my grandmother was taller than me, but she only swam out that far, and then would come back in and, yep, that's it. That's all she wanted to do. The other one, I never did find out why, but she was voluntarily not a swimmer. My mom swears up and down that her mother could swim, or at least did when my mother was younger, but she never ever did in the entire time I knew her. She never ever did go swimming, and I don't know why. Lived her life in a very prairie town, and there was like one swimming pool in town, and it wasn't like it was a big deal. But, yep, no, a whole like farmer's wife type of lady, and just never swam. And so it was interesting going to Hawaii with her. But she was always very ooh about everything, and that's part of what I remember is both these grandmothers going ooh, because one had never ever been, and the other one, the swimmer, we called her Nan. So Nan had been with her husband several times to Hawaii, but she'd always done the stereotype thing you see on TV, where you go to the resorts and it wasn't exactly non-stop drinking per se, but it was like a lot of party time with her friends. And the stereotyped luau's made for... Thanks for coming by, CT. I recognize that it is like 8:30 in the evening or close to that overseas, so I appreciate that you took the time to drop by and say hello. I'll see you later in the week if you've got the time. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your weekend. So yeah, so Nan had gone several times, and she had done always the resort thing, and seen all the cheesy made-for-TV luau's and bazillion of the Hawaiian shirts and, all that kind of stuff. And so initially when we invited her, she's like, why would I want to go again? This is not fun for me. Why would I want to go? And we took a while to convince her, but we eventually got her to say yes, to go the way we go, as in my family had gone when I was growing up, which was lots of, and we had beach time, but we'd make beach days out of it. We'd walk the beach. We would try and find some of the smaller beaches. We would avoid the major touristy islands as much as possible. Sometimes we'd go on a coordinated tour or two, but usually it was somewhat self-guided. By the books and things, but, hikes and whatnot. And our casual walks and lunches and all sorts of stuff that we didn't go anywhere near the resorts. And she had a ball, an absolute ball, loved it. And sort of said, I didn't know that all this was out here. We just never left the resort, so she had thought for years that this whole bizarre resort life with the fake luau's and stuff was all there was to it. Which is kind of odd. So anyway, I would go back again, but the thing is, my family goes to either Hawaii or Disney World, specifically. Actually, Hawaii or Disney, North America, far too often. As in, my parents go a lot. And it's partly because as my dad gets older, I think he is picking up. Nan eventually had some Alzheimer's. And so I think my dad may be slowly heading that direction. Plus, he refuses to admit that he's going deaf. One of those, weightlifter, there's nothing wrong with me kinds of people. I kid you not, we've talked about this before, but he still cycles and works out and, at nearly 80, has a triangle back and all this kind of jazz. I don't, as you can clearly tell. I got the other side of the family. But suffice to say that, so he has a real hard time admitting there's anything remotely wrong with him. And he gets cranky if you try to tell them there is. But yeah, I mentioned this yesterday or Friday, I guess. So yeah, Lego repeat stories. That we had maybe it was Friday. I can't remember when. I know I discussed it yesterday with some friends, but we had one of our we've got those smart house locks where you put your code in to get into the house, kind of thing. So it's like your own home security system, but it's just smart house does a bunch of other things. So we have smart house locks, and one of them at Christmas at one of our Christmas gatherings had gone off into alarm state. So the whole thing was alarming, like somebody was trying to break in. I think it was just that as moving chairs and setting up the tables and whatever, we probably bumped the door too hard a couple times. And so it thought somebody was trying to break in, and the alarm went off. Well, everybody in the house except my father could hear it and had to put up with it till we figured out how to turn it off, or it timed itself out, which is also annoying from a safety standpoint. But anyway, even the uncle who, even my husband's uncle who was wearing a hearing aid, even he heard it with his hearing aid, and when he took his hearing aid out, he could still hear it. And my father was highly confused about what everybody was getting all hot and bothered about. He couldn't hear a thing. And yet we're like, we keep telling you, you need to go get your hearing checked. And he's like, what? I hear you just fine. There's nothing wrong. You don't need to yell at me. Which, by that point, we'd actually already raised our voices about 4 or 5 times, and he hadn't figured it out till then. So, yeah. When he decides that he's wanting to go to the same place over and over and over again, but yet in his life is also getting to the point where he otherwise refuses to travel, then my mom will cave every once in a while and just be like, yep, fine. We're going to Disney World again. Fine, we're going to Hawaii again. But on the bright side, she's the one who gets to book the trips, which means that every time they go, there's always something new and different, which is great because they get to do different things. Like, as seniors, apparently it's a whole different experience to go see the, was it the not so scary Halloween, or not the not so scary one, the, what does Disney call it? The very, I don't know, the Halloween thing anyways in Florida. It's not, I haven't been, so that's part of why it doesn't stick in my head. Well, 2 with the slots in it. It's these 2. But anyway, so it was a different experience as a senior to go and see that versus being parents of kids, like with kids. So they did that sort of thing. Welcome! Geek Out has rotated, and it is currently asking about games. Could be electronic, could be table. 2 games in which a sheep appears. I did not write this question, just so everybody knows. My daughter is head over heels for sheep and llamas, which she jokingly refers to as long-necked sheep. But she actually loves sheep. And goats, I guess, but mostly sheep and llamas. There is, I've got one that's right on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember it again. Regarding sheep. I mean, a game in which a sheep appears, we can call Minecraft. Like, that's what I normally do, and there's Minecraft. Everywhere. All the time. There's sheep in that. But I'd like something else. There's a card game that's on the tip of my tongue my daughter owns. That's got, well, I think it's mostly sheep, but it's like a, no, it's not, it's llamas. Because it's llamas unleashed, so that's not really sheep. But it's a competitor, not competitor, sorry, a offshoot, I guess, of the game Unstable Unicorns. And it can be played as, the llama one can be played as a base set for the Unstable Unicorns game, should one want to. So that's always a treat in our house, because that means that we can actually, at some point, purchase Unstable Unicorn expansions and use them as expansions to the llama game, even though there's no other llamas in them. So yeah. I love going to Disney as an adult because you can do your own thing. You don't have to have kids in tow, although I love doing it when we took our kids. That's the other side. This way. But going to Hawaii, I would do again. Every time I've gone, it's been a different experience for me. Just we do different things, or sometimes we do the things we've done before, but we have different people there. And as we talked about, many of the things I enjoy for various hobbies, whether it be, or hobbies and interests, I guess, whether it be for magic or whether it be for movies, Minecraft, whatever, I really like being around when people get to have their first experience with whatever the topic is. So I like the experiential part for myself, but I also enjoy being around when others get their first experience. So that's one of the nice parts about traveling to somewhere you've been before, is there isn't the stressful headache of figuring out, where do we go, what do we do, what is expected, etc., etc. Unless there's been significant change over time. But for the most part, you don't have that. So taking someone to Hawaii for their first time is actually quite a treat. I'm looking for the brown piece. There we go. Because you get to see how they experience it, and if there's any ooh wows, etc. from their first experience, it's nice to be there for that. This one, that goes on that side. And then we've got a gear that goes on this side. Yeah, so if anyone else has a sheep game, then feel free to suggest it. Otherwise, I will roll the top. Let's get this page done first, though. Okay, we've got that one, and then there's a yellow clear gear. Which way does it go? That way. Fork Knife has sheep? Huh. I've never played that one. I mean, I know what the game is, but I've never played it to know for sure if there's sheep in that one. There is sheep in, sheep in Catan, right, in the Catan series games. And there's a sheep in, Manor Lords, because you can raise sheep. So now we've doubled it, so let's hit Geek Out again. Pop culture music. 4 songs with a precious stone in the title. So it doesn't have to be about a precious stone. So we've got... Hey Gary, how are you doing? Welcome on in. You are the biggest fan. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What is Gary's project for the weekend? Okay. So I've got a yellow piece that goes in the back of this for sure. Okay, and then I'd love to have a camera that goes even closer, but then I'd have problems staying on it. See, I keep bumping the camera. Okay. This one, which way does it go? Here, that way. All the way in. And then this goes this way. That looks weird. Okay. And it lets it rotate freely in that part, so it doesn't make much sense. This one, and then has the spacer to hold it all in. Okay. We've got some fiddly bits to do. Spent some time meeting Slack and Jen. Ooh! Ooh, ooh, ooh. Loose Geographics, where did you meet up with them? Did you go for lunch? Or dinner, I guess? I don't know. Late in the evening, so depending on where you are, they are amazing people, Slack and Jen. Definitely worth your time to be meeting up with them. And I appreciate that you took the time to drop in here. It's never a requirement, always a treat. I love it. Alright, so roll this again. We've got some sort of widgety doohickey. Here, I'll show you this. Maybe it'll... There we go. So we're going to have cameras that are in uncooperative today. That's fine. I didn't risk putting on another camera just because For some reason or other, my computer, I've actually managed to run it out of ports. And so for some reason it wants to treat my wireless camera as though it's on a port. I don't get it. Makes no sense. Ooh! And that one, okay, is not going to stay in for me. If I can make that tail a bit longer. You stay, please. Please and thank you. Oh ho. If I actually push it in all the way, that might help. There we go. Alright, and so this widgety thing goes in there. So I'm assuming this is going to be part of our crank mechanism. And I did not put the handly bits on that. These. So it looks like the handles rotate freely, so I don't have to worry about which direction they go. There, yeah, that's going to crank nicely. Alright, so set this aside a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Got one piece like that. This one sits on top. So for the song, 4 songs with the precious stone in it, we've got Diamond in the Dark and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, for sure. And I'm going to go with Ruby Tuesday by the Stones.
Welcome.
Hey, Killer Panda, welcome back. Welcome on in. Good to see you. Hopefully you're having a good weekend. Or, yeah, I believe you're still on weekend, if I remember loosely. We do have some fine friends that are across the date line from here, so I just hedging bets. Let's go with that. But I'm hoping you had it. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. That's a good one. I like that one. That's it. Do we have any other ones? People are, by the way, even though it seems that mostly Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I are answering this, as you guys may have seen particularly when we have Sly Gamer Scott hanging out, you guys can all jump in if you happen to know. This is more the Geek Outed game is intended to encourage conversation. So if you don't, even if we answer it, we can pause anytime, anywhere, and just talk about whatever those songs are. If there's one people don't recognize, or recommendations based on those songs, whatever songs, if you like them, if you don't like them, yada yada yada. It's designed in there to be fodder for conversation. It's like, how do I put it? It's kind of like the bit, it's my supercalifragilisticexpialidocious game, because, come on, here, roll, there we go. It's that game because, as the lyrics say in that song, when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need to despair. Just summon up this word, you've got a lot to say. But better use it carefully, because it could change your life, which Geek Out never will. I'm sorry. But yes. So, yeah, there's not much to say. We can refer to the Geek Out game, and we've got good stuff. Now, this Technic pin, it's in... yeah, it's flush enough. I was going to get all picky and push it in further, but I think it's flush enough because it has balance on the other side. So let's grab a couple of these pieces. I'm never really sure what angle on the camera works best, so we're just kind of winging it every time. I'm just trying to keep it out enough that I don't crack into it when I try to use my mouse to move the instruction set forward. You're sleepy and it's hot. Ah, he's done the Lego I'm currently making. All right. So, ballpark question. This is going to sound silly, but how long did it take him? I assume he was not, super squirreling and chatting to you the whole time. But, just curious. The mechanics of the insides of these are really neat for me. I find them, how would I put it? Curious, I suppose? Curious. Very curious. And apologies to poor Ollivander and the actor that played him in the Warner Brothers movies. Although I guess I don't really have to apologize to people anymore, because they probably got better things to do as actors, particularly those that have passed away, like like the Yellow Van Director has. In an hour. Okay. Well, we have options. If I do finish it in an hour, we have options. Lego. It's all the way up. But working with the mechanical ones are, I love the builds of any of them. It's not just the content, I love builds of any Lego. But as far as, if you're going to sit and watch somebody, ones that have, where you can sort of see what's becoming. You go look away, you fill your drink, you stretch, whatever, you come back in a couple minutes, and you go, what did I miss? And it's not really a matter of have you missed anything, but that when you come back, you can go, oh, hey, things are moving along, we can start to see what's going on. Or if we can't, we can start to see the mechanics and the parts coming together. Okay, this one is on its back. That piece on. I guess it doesn't go on here yet. Silly me. Aha. Delenn, read the instructions. I probably need a read the instructions command almost as bad as I need a Delenn, you're muted command. Although muted got itself a sticker. We have stickers for that, but we don't have a read the fine instructions. Yes. Right, it's not the manual, so that doesn't really apply, but it's the fine instructions. Which usually they are fine instructions. I will put this bit down because it seems to not refer to it. Ooh! I'm one of those weird people who likes, I should say weird. I kind of like the bippity boppity happy shiny 60s stuff on occasion, music-wise. Yeah. Okay, where does this go? I do like that, and so I've discovered via Epidemic Sound, actually, a new group, new to me anyways, a group called Tage, T-A-G-E, and they do a lot of that bippity boppity happy type of shiny stuff that I get a kick out of sometimes. It's the sort of thing that gets in your head, and if that type of music doesn't annoy you, then it can make your day, I guess. So yeah. I was thinking a more modern song that would probably fit the descriptor is like Mr. Brightsides. I think it's Brightsides? I don't know. I'm sure I got the title wrong, and if I got it correct, I'll be surprised. But in any case, that's what this reminds me of. And it also actually makes me think I want to write a clogging dance to it. Because that's the sort of thing I do. But then the problem with me writing one is I'd have to teach it. And I don't know if I can teach it successfully. Actually, that's not really accurate. I can teach it. I just don't have the skills to dance it and call it at the same time. So a lot of dance types, when you watch them on television or whatnot, then you will see that they this way, okay, ankles down. When you watch the dance types on television, is that mounting by one hinge? Okay, you'll see that they have memorized the dance and they just go for it from there. Whereas clogging frequently does for competition, but there are also more casual groups like ours that have, like, they do it for fun and exercise and whatever. Sometimes it's full of old biddies, but we cue the dance as we do them most of the time. And even though there are like national set dance lists and so on, people can dance to just about anything. So you can write dances to just about anything you please. But usually the instructors will dance with their back to the group. So unlike a traditional, say, aerobics instructor, our clogging instructors will dance to the song while they do it but they do it with their back to you. So in essence, you'll see the same thing when you're dancing behind somebody else in the room as you will when you've got, like when you're looking up at the instructor. And so we call that cue and do. and I'm not very good at cue and do. I can either cue or do, not usually both. But that doesn't stop me from writing dances when I get the itch. Because, you know, you get your feet tapping. Which is odd considering that, then the last, a couple months, I was officially put on meds for ADHD, but it's the inattentive type. So even though I talk about writing dances and stuff, I'm usually the Wrigley variety, or no, I'm not the Wrigley variety that people think of with ADHD or ADD. So it's kind of funny. But the meds actually just help me focus a little bit more and have a bit more control over what I focus on. But it's just... So at dance, I actually like to be off them, just because then I can wiggle. Like, it's great. It can be a little difficult to keep the step in my head, though, and that can frustrate me a fair bit. Anyhow, looks like we're building the base of the tree that Hedwig is standing on. What is this? This is very... Huh. This is a song by Matt Large, and it's a song called By Any Means Necessary. Interesting. So this today's set of music comes from the now trending list on Epidemic Sound. I've got myself a subscription to that and quite like some of the tunes. The problem is I like the now playing information for you guys, just in case there's something that interested you. Or I also use it if I have to go back and try and confirm that a song is not in my video. I've had a couple of calls on that one. Usually you can just complain, yeah, it's not in my video, and then the block mute gets released, and that's that. I've had a couple where the artist has done some music for the royalty-free, or sorry, the like streaming and content creation community, and some songs solo. And so if you get a song from that artist claimed in your video, sometimes you have to go through and prove that that particular song is not in the video. And I've had one pushback on that. So then, yeah, I had to actually pull the song title that was in the video, just because I tend to stick my VODs on YouTube. Not a big deal, but it's nice to be able to have all that information. And unfortunately, the Epidemic Sound sources, like their little players, don't actually give you all that information, like song title and song choice, artist and album and all that jazz. Oh, I put this in the middle, then I'll space everything nicely. There we go. That helps. So I like that information for you, but their players don't do that. The closest you ever get is saying, you know, music list, and then it gives you like the title of the playlist, or if you're playing a list of music based on a search, then they'll actually put the search term in. Like, it's kind of stupid. So I don't use their players. I wish I would. Wish I could. What did I not put in here? I missed something? Clearly. Because I have holes in things. Aha! See? Dylan Mixters. This one goes in here. I totally missed the step that actually had me put that in there, because it looked like the one before to me where you put the centerpiece in. So yeah. This is why I shouldn't roll around too fast. I don't know yet if I have a hotkey for page advance, but then you'd see my like big chunky arm reaching for the buttons all the time, which is not ideal. There we go. Okay. So this one goes back on. This is a song called High and Dry by Matthias Tell. And I swear he sounds to me like Stephen Page from Bare Naked Ladies. That's Stephen Page. Yeah, it might be. I have to think about that again. Stephen something or other. I clipped my fingernails. Now I have to figure out what I did with my fixer stixer. I had two of them. I have more. It's not like they're missing. I just trying to figure out where I put the last ones I had. Oh, must have absent-mindedly put them in the box. Or they're around here somewhere and I'll find them later. Yeah, there they are. See? So I can find them later. There we go. So it's actually a brick separator, but my kids call it a fixer-stixer, so I just use their term for it. There we go. Okay. This is why it takes me longer than an hour to do things sometimes, is just because I get rushing and I make mistakes. And as Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I were talking about last night, I will say it applies in this case, although he was using it last night for something else. The Navy idea would apply here in the slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And I think I've missed a step or two because I have pieces here that have not been used. So something is probably not right. Oh, maybe I'm wrong and I do have all the parts in here. So this goes up, and the two little balls, according to that red circle, snap in? No. Snap in? I don't think so. They look like they're supposed to snap in, but mine don't want to. Oh, there we go. It took a little far. Or a bit more pressure than I was willing to put on. Pardon me. Can we turn it around? This one goes underneath. Come on, you. Right. And roll that. Okay, I'm not missing things. I just hadn't... See? Rushing gets me to not trust stuff. I find it interesting that, once again, these flat bits appear to be one of those situations where things get put in, but then you wonder why certain other pieces were used instead. And aside from the fact that they just fit, and the other ones wouldn't. It may have simplified the number of parts or the types of parts rather than having more custom pieces. And causing confusion and assembly delay. Alright, sticker time! It's black, or writing on black, so let's see if I can get it straight. That'll be a challenge. Okay, I don't like this one for that. There we go. One of my brick separators has been slightly chewed up on the end, probably because it's... I prefer... It's not because... Oh. Camera. Come on. I leaned into it, and now I... Hey, you. Okay. Focus on that, mister. Thank you. Now refocus down here. Thank you. Got it. So, I like the teal brick separators. The other ones are bright orange. And... orange is not one of my favorite colors. I have a shirt that you guys have seen that's orange, and I wouldn't own it, except for we have a day in September which is appropriate for wearing orange shirts. It's Orange Shirt Day. There's a story behind that, which is not going to be told here because it's kind of political. But otherwise, I would not wear orange. I do not like it as a color, but I just don't like the way it looks on things, right? Like, Halloween is fine. You know, pumpkins are fine. Some people like orange, no problem. If they want to like orange, great. You know, if there's orange accents in something, sure. I'll wear a shirt with orange accents, no problem. But orange by itself is not my thing. Even the shirt I bought, actually, I bought it at a craft store. So it's painfully blank. And I should probably one of these days put something on it. But given the reason I own it, I have not decided on an appropriate slogan to put on it without being considered, like, rude. So I just don't. Get this one straight, come on. I'm not developing creases in the corner yet, but trying to make use of, you guys are probably having trouble seeing this too, but I'm trying to make use of the reflections the way I'm seeing them to get my sticker lined up. And it's always wrong. It's either crooked or too far one way or too far another. That one's really bad too. One of these days where it's like, well done is good enough, and I haven't gotten to well done yet. Or good enough is well done, I guess. Whatever. Something along those lines. Okay. Let's try it one more time. There's always one more time, because of course, it's like when you go searching for your keys or something. Things are always in the last place you find them. Plain and simple. Why? Because you stop looking. But the intent of the phrase has been changed, because I mean, really, it's things are always in the last place you would think to look. Let's just get this good enough and call it, because otherwise I'll be here all day on one stupid sticker. If I really wanted to, because it's writing on black, I actually could vinyl it to make it like 3D, and I just don't feel like it. There we go. That's close enough. Yeah, that's close enough. All right, so that will go on the front. These 2 pins. Next, we're on bag 2. Woohoo! Only 2 spare pieces. That's nice. Here, bag 2. Once again, I've just chucked the bags on the floor. So we are time-wise halfway through. This next round of stories involves yesterday. I did not get to watch a whole lot of streams, and I really want to. I have a huge ton of VODs that I should go see. Unfortunately, we'll not be watching Phasmophobia VODs, just I can't handle the game in the first place. Less so than some of the other people in the community as well. That said, I have a bunch of VODs that I need to catch up on. But I was out for most of the afternoon doing our Scouting Youth annual Soapbox Derby. So for our Soapbox Derby, people have a prescribed, prescribed, that's not the word. There's a mandatory soapbox design, and by the way, I keep getting the camera in the corner here. But there's a mandatory soapbox design, so the groups build according to plans, and then once those builds are deemed safe, then the youth can be, thrown downhill in them, basically. So the event starts at 6 in the morning. Thankfully, I was not a volunteer for that, and so I did not have to be there that early in the morning. Our particular group has one scouter who so we call them scouters in Canada. In the US, they call them scout leaders, I believe. You'll have to correct me on that, because I don't know if the terminology changed with the change over to Scouts BSA. But in any case, so we have one leader in our group who soapbox is his thing. Meaning, it's not that he's fired up about it per se, but he always likes to be the one on the organizing committee, be in the know, that kind of stuff. The resulting effect is when they asked for every group to supply at least one, if not more, volunteers to start at 6 a.m. for the setup and testing and whatever, he just takes that on himself. So we've never had him ask anyone else in the group to do that. But when it comes to our group's time slot, we always need a parent with every youth to fill in as a volunteer slot. So if you want photos or something, oops, and I rolled forward. If you want photos or something, then you need to bring a second family member, generally. But we do not have a twisty turning race. What they actually have is a fairly steep grade hill that the kids get to ride down. So the soapboxes themselves, I don't have a picture handy, unfortunately. I did not get them from Fantastic Sherlock Fox or Star Wars Fan Kit or whatnot, but I will post some in Dadcraft's Discord, being it's his stream weekend, in the Off Topic channel. No rush, but we will be doing that. And we have a fairly steep hill, but if you picture, we talked about this a little bit earlier, if you picture yourself probably a moving dolly, I guess is probably the best thing I can think of to compare it to, with the wagon wheels from what people would grow up knowing as the Little Red Wagon. You know, one of those like classic red radio flyer deals. And the stronger axles than that, but that's what they put on the end of it, is those little red radio flyer type wheels. And then there's actually a lap belt and a shoulder belt the kids are required to have, helmets and everything, so it's a big deal. But our group ran through the late part of the afternoon, and it's not a competition to see who's the fastest or whatever. They all just get to go down the hill, and they get up to 3 runs if they want it. And if there's a lot of time left, then kids can be offered a 4th, but usually they cut them off at 3 just to keep the whole event moving. Otherwise, there's some kids that'd be nonstop and go all day if you let them. So anyway, we'll grab those Techniques pins as we need them. So anyways, we were there yesterday, and that was what prevented me from watching a whole lot of streams. My daughter had a lot of fun because, she was quite excited. This was she put it her last chance because she's the oldest year of the age group that we let do that. I don't believe the next year up has an equivalent, which is too bad because some of the youth there are kind of disappointed that they don't get to participate anymore. They can volunteer to help out, but they can't actually participate in being a rider. Basically, it's a bit of a relatively loose, semi-informal body weight restriction for safety purposes. On the bright side, though, the only injuries we had out of the whole day, according to the medical teams, who, frankly, a lot of them are from my local group, that the only injuries we had were one youth may have twisted an ankle. I think it was a youth. Fantastic Shock Fox would have to correct me if it wasn't. But I think it was a youth who may have twisted an ankle. And then we had one youth who, in my group, who, as part of a crash, they're a fairly limber kid, I wouldn't say over flexible. They're not hyper flexible per se, but a fairly flexible kid. And they just managed to lean forward far enough that they got the brake stick in the belly. So if you picture like a flight yoke kind of thing, and that's really what's operating your brake pad, singular brake pad. And poor kid, just as he slammed into the tires on the side, he just lurched forward. We usually have the shoulder belts too tight for that to happen. So I'm not sure what happened there. There will be probably an after-action review on that just to make sure that it wasn't anything worse. But the other thing about it is also that some of the wagons have a very slightly longer brake rod than the others, and so it's also possible that that particular wagon should not have been approved for safety because the brake stick was too long. I'm not sure. We'll find out later. But on the bright side, our kid, thus far, I've not heard of them having any further injury. This kid has a bunch of health issues and such of various types, so it just means his mom is one of those ones that's not a helicopter parent, definitely not, but very, very careful and very, very caring. So she would have let us know if there was anything that came out of that, but there could have been a risk for internal bleeding or something, and what I hear, he just got winded and was fine. He's unfortunately a dark tone kid, darker skinned, which just basically means that he won't even have a cool bruise to show his friends tomorrow. Which, I guess to some extent, on the other hand, he also gets sunburnt quite a lot at camp, and that's just because you can't tell when he's burning, and he was one who doesn't like to put sunscreen on. So yeah. Anyway, poor guy, but he, that was the only two injuries, which is good news. Because, previous years we've had weird ones. I mean, we've never had any bad crashes. The thing is, because they require long pants and long sleeve shirts and stuff, I don't think I've ever seen anybody even get so far as wrecking their shirt. So that's good news. No pants wrecked either. At least not from any accidents, put it that way. Or no physical accidents. But the idea being that if they keep their hands in, pulled into the center and stuff, keep them on the brake rod the whole time, then even if the vehicle falls over as part of a crash, you're not going to actually get hurt. So that's the gist of it. They're very, very careful with this one. These and those. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with that one. That's what kept us away for most of the day. So there will be pictures. People say pictures or didn't happen. In this one, I don't know if pictures or didn't happen would actually apply, because even if there were pictures, doesn't necessarily mean it happened. Yeah. And then the week before that, we did Pine Car Derby, or the equivalency thereof, I guess. In Canada, we just refer to it as Vehicle Rally, but it's, in essence, it's Pine Car Derby for our 8 to 10-year-old youth, So for those of you that are familiar with the American Scouting program, and some groups do pine car derby, little vehicle, it's like a wedge of pine with 4 little wheels, and you can shape up the pine however you like and frequently add more stuff to it. There are limits, but that's the gist of it. Pardon me. And in Canada, that's basically what they have. They don't call it pine car, partly because it's not always pine. Yeah, exactly. It's one of our kids' favorite events. Thanks, Sashay. So it was one of our kids' favorite events, and at the older than that, so the next group up, like the troop level, our scouts do, we call them scout trucks, quite literally. But they're how do I put it? They're not pine car derby replacements, but they're basically 18-wheelers with a similar scale to the pine cars. So, for example, we've actually had a couple of youth in some years that have decided for their scout truck, one of the things they wanted to do was to have a flat deck and put a Nader. Welcome on in, and thank you very much for the resub. I appreciate that. So the scout trucks are similar scale, so you can even have a flat deck and put your previous year's pine car derby car on the back of it. The only restriction in that case, though, is that they can't race their truck with the pine car on it, or the cub cars we call them. And the reason for that is because there's a rule that says all parts of the vehicle racing in any particular year must have been built, I guess, that year. And so we've made the odd exception for the ones who want to flat deck their car, because we know it's not the car that's racing, although it will affect everything. Okay, this has got to fit on the back in between these other ones, so it might be a little fussy to get it to line up right to start with. Might be, or hey, we'll get it the first time. Okay. That's going to be stiff. Can I loosen this a bit? Where is the yellow thing is supposed to hold stuff on, but it's really tight there. That's better. I didn't bring my car down, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. We opened up just for kicks. We opened up our rally group doesn't actually meet with other groups. We could, but it used to be really large, and we decided that our group does not like having pre-runoffs and then saying, okay, yeah, only the top 3 can actually go to, in essence, the races that count. Our group is big enough that we can have our own vehicle rally with categories for all the age groups. So we don't actually take part in the area one. That sounds dumb. It's not. It's just that our group's big enough we don't have to. So we decided for kicks that we were going to open up a leader category using the same limits as the pine car sized cub category. And most leaders who took part chose to make a car out of one of the cub car kits. That's what I did. But we just used those limits. So we actually had one leader who, youth leader, I guess, who worked with a younger section and decided to take the parts from a 5 to 7-year-old group section kit, because theirs are different. We call those beaver buggies, and add weight to a beaver buggy until it met the restrictions for the cub car section, and that was her entry into the leadership category, or his entry. I keep getting this person mixed up, but anyways, not important. Okay, so this has to meet the picture where this part is lining up vertically. They say they don't want it offset or sideways. There must be some sort of reason for it, but we'll find out later. So yeah, my car, Fantastic Sherlock Fox thinks it's pretty cool. I poo-poo it because, although I put a lot of work into it, it's just that I took a Dremel to it, and that's where the work went, and a lot of hand sanding involved. But it was just glue. Not glue. We spent a good amount of time at our local used Lego shop to find a whole bunch of the Lego Friends and a bunch of little skis so that I could make a ski hill for my car. So I just dremeled up the hill, glued on a couple of little figures doing things and some flags, and I liked it. It was fun. didn't race well at all, and the glues didn't hold the plastic onto the wood or onto the painted wood that effectively. So a lot of that popped off, but yeah, it got completely blown out of the water in the show and shine categories that we do, because one of our other leaders went ham. Like, you know, the kind of design that kids dream about and they have in their heads and they want to make, but then they never really get the chance to. And this guy took the time, so he actually had what looked more like an F1 car, like a Formula racer, and that was fine. Right. In the scouter category, we also take off all the limits in terms of what you can and can't do to the factory wheels. Whereas the youth category, you have to keep the wheels in original condition. Welcome in, haters. Yeah. Welcome on in. Good to see you both. Good, let me see, morning, I think? Nope. Why are you guys up so early? Must be Monday. Yes, must be Monday. Hopefully you, those in Oz will have a great Monday and a good start to their week. We are trucking on through with the stream weekend. AimNader did a fantastic stream last night. I absolutely loved it. I will be open about the fact that I nearly lurked for part of it. That was the original plan because we had other things to do, so we would not stay up quite so late. And Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I ended up staying for the whole thing because we were having so much fun. But yeah, AimNader did a great job playing Minecraft last night for the stream weekend, and tried some hardcore for the first time, which is interesting that AimNader seems to. I know you're in the stream and third person talking. I do apologize, but it's interesting that you were so nervous about it and kept talking about what would happen when you lost your world in the first 2 hours. I was actually quite surprised because AimNader plays an awful lot of bingo, like Minecraft bingo, both blind bingo and regular bingo. The way I look at it, although the Karameter is slightly different between that and a hardcore world, for at least the first, 2.5 hours of real world play, I don't see a whole lot of difference between hardcore world and a Minecraft world, because yeah, you lose it. That's fine. I mean, you don't spend any longer in a bingo world, and yet AimNader doesn't die frequently in her bingo worlds, so I don't seems to survive quite successfully. So I don't see why it would be any less successful for the same length of time in a hardcore world. Now, beyond that, I could see it, but for the first little bit, I don't know. I just don't see why there would be concern. Then again, I will admit openly that, I'm probably talking out my ear just because I've never done a hardcore world on stream. I've tried one for myself, and because I chose right from square one to not care what happened to it, if it disappeared, I wouldn't care. Then I wasn't invested, but it sounds like that was not the case, so we'll see. Kind and observant. You nearly toppled off every cliff. Well, yes. But that said, though, I mean, you could nearly topple off a cliff in bingo, and that would be a big, as big a deal as making the assumption that you wouldn't get back to your supplies, or you could get back to your supplies. It doesn't really matter. So that's why I'd said in stream, in conversation, when you're thinking about dying, I don't see this as any different as pretending your inventory is entirely full in blind bingo, therefore you don't want to die for the same reasons, and you'll survive just as well, right? But one of these days, AimNader's going to be like, yeah, just put your money where your mouth is here. So we'll see. It's funny, though, in my personal Discord, the question of the day happened to talk about... I think the question of the day today was like, are you susceptible to peer pressure? And my gut reaction is no. And then I actually thought about it and went, well, actually, yes. Particularly when I don't know what I want to be doing in Minecraft, I'm like, what's popular? what is it that everybody else kind of, quote unquote, says we should be doing right now? And I play that. So that, yeah, the pressure in a hardcore Minecraft world gets greater and greater the longer the world is around, just because more is done. Like, you get more invested in the world the further you get. The early stages, it doesn't matter, right? Because it's something that's easy and quick to recover from. But it's as you get more invested, the pressure increases. And that's the part that makes me a little bothered. Only in that I'm not great at the beginning of it. I can do it, but it's not... whatever. We'll see. We'll see. If I don't, if I don't come up with plans, who knows what's going to happen in the next few weeks. I do have a loose plan for when the DC73 servers reset as a part of 1.21 releasing. It's a twofold plan. Basically, I know what I want to use for a base house, which has absolutely nothing to do with the theme, but that frees me up so that the theme portion doesn't have to, doesn't have to accommodate living quarters or storage quarters. CK has no idea what she's going to be doing. Whatever CK does, and whatever Aimnator ends up doing for their bases this season, assuming, that's a big assumption on my part, assuming that you guys are still continuing, then I could totally take this chunk goes on this chunk. Okay, that makes more sense. Because then we can see that the cogs will match up underneath. Whatever you guys end up doing, I mean, it's always time dependent on your work schedules, right? Because you guys have very busy work schedules. And I, in theory, do not. Although, I'm pretending I've got a work schedule right now. It's not for any reason other than still trying to figure out managing life better than I used to. So that I'm pretending that's my job right now. It sounds crazy. Okay, I'm jumping ahead on scrolling steps, and that's going to cause me all kinds of problems. So I have to be careful what I do. 2 blocks. Okay, I think that looks right. Won't fit any other way, so let's try that. Everything spins together, so that's good news. Aimnator says, I know some people build these amazing intricate worlds in hardcore, but I guess if you're nervous about losing some builds you're proud of, you could always use it for experimental builds that you might go and create bigger versions of in a non-hardcore world. True. The other thing I was thinking of is, as a side twist, one could, if you're really invested in a particular, or pardon me, really proud of a particular build you pulled off in hardcore, that assuming you survived till the end of said build, then that's one of the ones that might be worth, learning the mod or the mods of either replay mods so that you can just, watch it again, even though you can't actually play in that world, or potentially even make sure you take the time to learn something like Lightmatica, so that you go, oh yeah, pulled off this amazing build that I'm super proud of that I came up with myself or modified to be my own thing, and then you make a schematic out of it. So the world may go to pot, but the piece you're really proud of and super duper invested in has a record somewhere. Some may call that cheating, because that may take out some of the pressure and some of the risk. I still happen to be in the camp that if Minecraft isn't fun for you because it's full of some sort of level of pressure that you're not enjoying, then I think it's perfectly valid to go and do things that make you enjoy the world more. For example, I play a lot with a mod for mapping. I mean, there's a couple different ones in Java that I quite like. And are these the short ones? 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. But it's because I find it not anxiety-inducing, but definitely decreases the fun for me if I am constantly getting lost and not know where I start. I don't want to be, as DC loves to tell the story of Fishing Solo, who lost his starter house. He couldn't find his way back. I don't want to be that person. I find that really ruins the game for me. So I don't mind having a mod that does otherwise. And then I've given you guys a bazillion, streaming excuses about why I do that. Just in that That way I can pull up a big map and be like, hey, look what we did. We're over here working on this thing and blah, blah, blah. Which I find is a time saver as a streamer because it makes it easy to show off where we've been, where we're going to, what's on the plan, that sort of deal. If/when I get lost. Well, yeah, I mean, the other thing is some people use coordinates, and that's great. I would love to use coordinates, but maybe it's a scouting thing. I don't know. But I am a directions person, you know? So I like having something. I don't care if I don't have a mini-map. Like, even if I could just simply find an add-on that I'm comfortable with that purely does nothing but sit in the corner and give me a compass direction, then I can handle that. Because then it's, X number of 1,000 blocks in this direction. Rockin'. I can deal with that. So maybe I should look for that before next season and see if something like that gets updated quickly once the drop comes. I don't know. That might be nice. And then I'll probably keep a full screen map, but I don't think I'll use it as much, like it's little mini map stuff. That's far less cheaty when I look at it that way. Okay, go up. Ah! She broke it again. But anyways, yeah, you play how you want to play, right? If the hardcore world, in order to keep it interesting and potentially long term, you have to get invested, and it stresses you out to do so. I don't see anything wrong with finding safety ways of doing it. However, personally would draw the line. You can do what you want to do, as you said, but personally would draw the line at backing up the world so that you can visit it again once you've died. That kind of defeats the purpose of the whole hardcore thing. I don't have a problem with keeping the design for the structure, because you could put the structure anywhere or in anything. But keeping it with the world intact, to me that's a little much. Some people play hardcore with a totem, others would call that cheating. People should just do what they want. Yeah, like as I said, if I can get a compass one, so that I don't actually have a mini map on the screen, or and I don't mind having a real map, provided I'm not using it for navigation. On the whole, I think also, truth be told, I would probably still want to go with some sort of what's the word? Some sort of waypoints system. Not necessarily for any reason other than just a pure time saver. Because otherwise I would have notes all over the place, or have to have another file or app that has notes for me on where I found things I like that I want to return to. So some of it is, like it's solo. I've done that. I have books that have notes, tons of notes in them, but where different things are. But for online purposes, particularly because I stream it, then I want to make it quick and easy to get to. The other thing about waypoints is just about every waypoint system I've personally used has options in solo worlds, or if you're the server op or whatever, it has options for teleportation straight to your spot. I don't believe in those. I figure you got to get there. However you get there is up to you, but you got to get there. So that's a piece of it I avoid using, even if I don't enable that section. To me, that's cheaty, but it's cheaty because of the way I play. It doesn't necessarily mean that it would be cheaty to other people. As I say, time savers, but for me, there are limits. So anyways, yeah, in the fall, I will be using a schematic right off the bat. As soon as I can get the supplies, I will be using a schematic. I haven't decided on what biome I want, but the design, and I'm going to leak it because it doesn't really matter. The design is going to be, I'm going to start off with the base part itself being a schematic I've discovered from a woodland mansion. So quite literally, it's just a classic woodland mansion. Let's go. Come on. Stick. There we go. It's a classic woodland mansion based off of one that somebody else had found that was actually how it generated. And I'm going to use that as where I sort of live and store things and whatever. But then the rest of the base, I'm hoping to do a Beatles theme, focused mostly around the Yellow Submarine movie. But we'll see if and where it goes. That I may not do references to everything to do with that. I may not stick to just that. I mean, there might be weird random stuff like, hey, I need a path, so I'm just going to do a faux asphalt road with a crosswalk on it. You know, hey, here's my Abbey Road reference. Like, it's that kind of thing. But I figure having a faux woodland mansion as the main part is kind of fun to try and get all the basic pieces of the life of living in a base stored in one sort of semi-coherent location. I think that's probably where I want to start with. Yeah, and that's why I don't mind using a schematic, because really the matter is getting that up as fast as possible, because that's not the focus of the season, and it'll make the place feel homey. That sounds funny, but you know, you can like the rooms that have normally have in a woodland mansion, you've got some secret places, and I may just tear those open and use them as bigger rooms. But they've also got spots that have what's the word? Like wool statue structures. And those I may just switch it up and use different designs in there, just because some of the ones that are in there I don't really care, you know. Like for example, I might do a Minecraft fox. I've been thinking about that for a while, just because, well, I married Fantastic Sherlock Fox, you know, like I kind of like the guy. Well, not just kind of, I very much like the guy. So the point being, it'd be kind of fun to have Minecraft fox head in there. Okay, Delaney, what did you do with that 2x1? There's one that went on the bottom before the plate for the thing. Then I'm supposed to have the gray piece, and another one that goes on. And why am I... Oh, there it is. So why am I not seeing it? Okay, there we go. So yeah, I like having everything in one spot, but also it means I'm not one for mass sorters. You guys saw that last season. I will need a ton of wool and probably a ton of other supplies over the course of the season to do some of the designs. And I may actually end up relying quite heavily at times on mining for diamonds just so that I can actually buy the stuff. There's some stuff that I just, you know, want to play around with, but I do not want to actually go and get myself. Cheesy? I don't know. But there it is, maybe? Okay, this way. The picture says it's that way. So we're starting to see the shape compared to the picture in the corner. And we got 20 minutes left. Let's see how far we can get in 20 minutes, because technically there's 2 more bags. Those. See if I can pick up the pace. No promises. Oh yeah. We're going to enjoy this. If I go too fast, I make mistakes, right? That's sort of back to where we talked about. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I actually had Fantastic Sherlock Fox explain that to me during Aimnator's stream. He typed it in stream, and I'm like, what on earth are you talking about? And he explained it. Basically, if one rushes, there are mistakes. But if you take it slow and steady, there are fewer mistakes, which ends up being fast. So yeah, that's my plan for the base this season. And in the meantime, you know, when I'm doing Minecraft, I was letting my brain run rampant, and I still have the song stuck in my head. Even though I complained about it earlier in stream, I do still have the song from earlier this week stuck in my head. So yeah, for those of you that are familiar with musicals, there was a musical. Once upon a time, it was called Spellbound, but then it eventually got changed into being The Magic Show, starring Canadian magician Doug Henning, even though it did make its way down to Broadway. And it had some good actors and actresses in it initially, and then they had some okay ones by the time they filmed it later on. But yeah, I grew up with a lot of Doug Henning exposure. I have met the guy, etc., etc. He eventually passed away, but when I was a kid, I actually had one of those like cheesy kid crushes, but it was not for like a romantic type crush. It was like, I don't know, I guess as an adult you'd call it like respect for craft and respect for talent type of crush. It was really bizarre. Anyway, so I've watched just about everything he's done. And I got enamored with that musical and then decided, well, let's see what I can do with one of these builds in Minecraft. And the first one, the box part, went fine, so I thought, okay, well, let's do another one. And the second one still needs to be redone because its scale didn't work out properly. I mean, it looks okay. Looks fine, but it just doesn't look right at the scale I did it. But it was called The Rabbit's Revenge. Long story made short. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, but the bit I've got stuck in my head explains how the game goes. Thanks, Aim Nader. Have a great day at work. Enjoy. Enjoy, and we'll see you again soon. And you know you can always tag me if you have something you wanted to chit-chat about or whatever. So I've got this stuck in my head, and it's The Rabbit's Revenge is a contraption made by the villain in the musical, who is I wouldn't say washed up, but yeah, kind of a failing small grade classic magician. And what I mean by that is like Tucks and Tails variety. But because he knows he's getting to be a washed up kind of guy, he's also a bit of a drunkard. And so all the thing is what him and his well, not all the thing, but like part of that is what him and his rabbit, Edna, who end up in competition with a new young magician at a nightclub. They want the spotlight at the nightclub. And then word gets out that at the nightclub, they're going to be having a big-time talent scout show up, who is going to watch the evening show, so it becomes a competition. Well, sort of a competition, a rivalry, I guess, between the old guy and the younger magician, played by Doug Henning. And Doug Henning can't sing, so don't expect any of that. It was a vehicle for his stardom, written by Stephen Schwartz, I believe. But in any case, so the villain, what's his name? It changed over the years, so I'm trying to remember what his name was. But anyways, the point is, the villain creates a rather Rube Goldberg contraption called the Rabbit's Revenge that is designed to actually kill his competition. Now, that may not sound super family-friendly for content for Minecraft, but basically, it's kind of fun to build, and the thing fails miserably. I mean, as magicians' stuff usually does. Where am I going to? I built this mirrored. Okay, I built that mirrored, which means I need to do it again, not mirrored this time. This side. This side. I don't know why I built it mirrored. Sometimes that happens. There we go. And anyways, so this guy, where's the other piece? Ah, there. Has a contraption where, long story made short, he's got a whole song about how the how's about a round as in a round of applause for the bad guy? How's about a hand for the villain of the piece? Though your troubles may increase, but you have to admit, without the bad guys, where would the good guys be? So, yeah. And what? There's something. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. So this goes on that away, and I'm not impressed with how I built it, but there's just mold spots, molding dents on things, because these pieces are all injection molded. So there's always little spots showing where they were attached in the machine. Okay, do I have to do it again? Yes, because it's the flip side one. And then so they turn it around. There we go. Okay. That one. And a black piece. But yeah, I did that build on Wednesday, I think? Yeah, it was Wednesday because I did Blind Bingo on Thursday. And so I've still got the song from that stuck in my head. 15 minutes. Yay! AKA 10 minutes. Oh, I got a double ding on that one. Wonder what I missed. Either that or I have a tech issue. Which would not surprise me in the slightest. What about before? Just quick timer. No. I want this to be free. There we go. Sorry. I've got a... For those of you that have ever tried Stream Deck or interested in Stream Deck, one of the plugins I've got, one of the plugins I have, not plugins, sorry, yeah, what's the word? The thing. I don't know what it is. It's an action. It's a piece from Bar Raider, and it's a timer, but it's a countdown timer. And so what it does is I can have it count down to a specific time or even a specific date. So what I've often done is set the time it counts down to be the end of my stream. And it starts out being green when things are fine. When it starts getting really close, it turns to yellow. And then when it's expired, it turns red and starts counting up. Let's see if we can get at least these wings done. So starting with the left-hand one. 1, 2, gap. 3, come on, 3, 4. You can start to see those would be the wing parts. This one here, the lower tube. I think. Where does it go here? This one's up top. Oh, okay, yeah. For some reason, it's drawing it lower than it really is. Because it's got to connect onto this bottom one. There. Which was not in the correct orientation. Now we've got, and I was off camera. There we go. So it connects with the top and the bottom. I pushed. See? I pushed the camera, which means I pushed everything around. So that's going to be the first wing. Let's see if we can get the second one going. Welcome back, Valenti. Thank you very much for hanging out. I know you were here early and just saying hello towards the end. There have been a lot of great people in stream. Yeah, so the Rabbit's Revenge may return. You guys may see it at some point. I still want to finish off the Mismade Lady, though. So I should probably get to putting body parts inside. That sounds weird, but yeah. I just was having problems deciding if I wanted a humanoid or Minecraft. And where does that go? Okay, that one. I got it backwards, okay. This piece goes over there. That snags on here. And it's there. That's better. All right. And I was leaning into the camera again. That's why everything goes all foggy. I get it. To the shorter ones. Is it? I think that worked. See, what I'm frustrated by is there's two lengths here. Okay, we've got a long one and a short one. It doesn't say which is which. The long ones are too long, based on the wing pieces. But the short ones... Oops, that's the long one. But the short ones... It looks like it's supposed to half cover each one of them. And I couldn't initially figure out how to get it on there, because I was trying to put it on in between the little pins at the back. But apparently it's supposed to go on the pins at the back. I don't think I've used that technique in a long time. There we go. Okay. There's your tail feathers. So we're going to flip this chunk over. This one has two round sections. But yeah, as I said, there will be a return for some of that Magic Show stuff. Initially, I wanted to do a build based on water levitation, but frankly, Minecraft water does not look good unless you make the scale absolutely ridiculously huge. It does not look good for the purposes I was looking for. Because for anybody who's seen a water levitation magician illusion before, which thank heavens that I've not actually been physically involved in, although I know how they're done, it's just too wet. But those water levitations, you've got a gal who basically is levitated and held up by the water. Then the magician turns the water off, magically, of course, and the person stays levitated. And then, of course, they take, like, you know, often a ring that's on fire and move it around the levitating gal. And she... Oh, two halves of... Okay, fine. feel better. Which one's which? I guess it doesn't really matter. Quote unquote 1 goes on the left and 1 on the right. Oh, 2 on the right. Number 2 on the right. So anyways, yeah, I thought about doing that in Minecraft, but because the cubes are in essence, if you want to think about it as a yard by yard or meter by meter, either way, the scale is ridiculous because it's done, the actual illusion is done with what looks like a sprinkler or like a no wider than the spray out of your shower head at home for every single jet of water. So doing that at Minecraft scale, to make that effect look right, you would have it being huge, like absolutely monstrous. I thought about trying to fake it out with maybe doing it, on like clustered, say, bamboo or sugarcane instead of water. The color's wrong, but the idea was there. It gave me 2 of the same one. Because it's got the... Oh no, I'm doing it upside down. Ha! Glenn. So I thought about faking it out with the bamboo and sugarcane. It just doesn't look right. Third option was to try every second block and do a piece of blue glass. Just as a little skinny rod. This distance of spread just looked wrong. So for now, that particular illusion's on hold. Not to mention I'd have to decide how large of a person I wanted to put on this whole levitation business. And to decide if I wanted to show the look or if I wanted to show the reality in behind how that illusion's done. And I mean, it's pretty obvious to anybody who's ever seen it before, but it's still fun. So if it's one of those I need to decide elements. But because I know about how magic, not all magic, but a lot of the basic illusions are done, then I don't get as much buzz from the ooh wow factor. The hey, how'd they do that? Just doesn't happen anymore. So I instead, this back up one. Okay, it's underneath the black section. So instead, I get a kick out of watching things with people who are not as familiar with it, which, as time goes on, does not count Fantastic Sherlock Fox because he's seen more of it and more of it because I like to watch the stuff. But I like to see people who've never seen it before and watch their oohs and ahs and so forth. And I also get a bit of a, I guess, the impressive part about, wow, that guy's flair in how they did the thing, I already know how it's done. That's impressive. Hey Swanky, how are you doing today?
Welcome.
Good to see you, good to see you. How's your family doing today? I figured it would be, Mother's Day weekend and there's a lot of people I wouldn't see. Either that or I'd become some sort of oddball radio station, that's how the week works during the week anyway. I was joking with Fantastic Sherlock Fox a little bit this morning, semi-serious I guess, about during the week there's 3 categories of people as far as I'm experiencing on Twitch, and the 3 categories basically boil down to either, because I stream in the daytime slot, either A, those that are not allowed to have any Twitch on in the background whatsoever at work, whether it be on their mobile devices or otherwise. B, those that have it on, but for whom I'm a radio station. And C, for those that actually interact. And I have no problem with any of those categories. But it's just one of those things that, I had to get used to, because the numbers are all over the board. So you never can really gauge what people do or don't like by the fact that they are all over the place. Your kids wanted to visit and you said no. Oh boy. This is my day. Well, yeah, why not? Okay, I need to just quickly switch over because I know we need to see who's next. Got a couple of... Okay, that's not to me directly. Alright, so looks like there's no one who wants to sit. It's just you. Okay, well, that's fine. I guess it's a freebie day. Freebie day? That doesn't make sense. Okay, let's hit the wrong button. There we go. Stream weekend. Just double checking. Okay, the time slots are a little bit wonkaloo from some of these slots in the weekend, but next up is Sachet. Thumbs up. Totally cool. So yeah, woohoo! Yeah, we're gonna drag it pretty close to the top of the hour, just because Lego's easy to stop right at that point. Doesn't necessarily mean I do it, but yeah, pretty easy to stop at that point. And then we shall head on over and see what Sachet's got going on, which I'll probably pop out after I say hello and everything, see what the Fang Dangley's up to, and then maybe back afterwards from a different device, which just occurred to me I forgot to charge my tablet. That's okay. Let's see, what can we do in 5 minutes, right? All right. So bag 3, we're starting to get more of the feathers going on. Yeah. Totally cool to raid and run? It'll be raid and duck out, not raid and run. I can't do that. I can't run. That's not a physical comment. That's actually referring to, no, I have to come back. Sachet streams are far too cool to miss. Besides, usually there's enough earworms going on in Sachet's streams that they'll help me get rid of that other earworm that's been stuck in there since Wednesday. This way. Okay, 1, 2, 4. So Potato may raid and run. That's fine. We have to be careful what we say around Sachet, don't we? Sometimes they turn into her next project. No, I've actually, thankfully, although I was the host of the CK and Shay show clip, I was not involved in any of that silliness yet, which is probably a good thing, because I'd be rather alarmed by whatever content she decided to put in there, and have profuse apologies to her wife for getting her involved for anything. Okay, let's see, where do we go? You know, it's funny, I debated taking Mother's Day off and then chose not to, because this is what I like to do sometimes. The whole point to my streaming was to have fun and chill, and maybe, you know, if I put it up there, people might come. So this is what I wanted to do. Yeah, so I heard, although hopefully we're not impacting her grades too badly, because it sounded like she was pretty unimpressed when there was a chance that the fine DC crew shenanigans may have gotten in the way. So let's hope that we're gonna do better from here. In any case, it means that, like, I don't want to be involved in the trouble. What is this? Lego, usually you're good at explaining what goes where, but this is nonsense. Okay. There we go. That makes more sense. Okay, let's see. Can we get something of the other side done? Guess not. Okay. Yes. 1, 2. I'm trying not to mirror this because of the way that pieces won't fit if I don't get the right ones. One, 2, 3, 4. Long strip. And a black strip. Think. Which way? This way. Oh. 3. Yeah, you left her alone for a week. Good idea. You knew Shay was a bad influence. Well, I will say, I wouldn't put it that way per se. I'd be more likely to say it's a good thing that Shay has arrived, because a couple of things I've noticed in the community that have happened since Shay's shenanigans began. Some of the vocal shenanigans, that is. Yes, I know we're right up against the top of the hour, so I have to be careful on this one. But so a couple of things I've noticed in the community since Shay's shenanigans began that I have found kind of interesting to note is that there's been far more people that have actually who are buoyed, I guess, lifted up. There you go. Encouraged to just chill, relax, hum along, sing along, be goofy in terms of like what they want to, you know, make some noise, for lack of a better term. Go Disney. So there's been a lot more people that are more relaxed in doing that sort of thing. So we're getting, you know, people just chilling to the tunes on their own streams and singing little bits as they pop into their head and stuff. But the other side of it I'm noticing is they've rescued people like you, all the other viewers, from people like me, who may actually have caterwauled once in a blue moon. And you guys not have to hear that as often, because I've decided that, yeah, I either A, don't care, or B, get self-conscious about it, and it just doesn't happen anymore, which is good for you guys. Is all that to say, yeah, that I'm really glad that she's come up. We have to make this piece twice, so I'm just going to see where this connects in. Put it in the first one, and then that's it. We shall call it for today. So hopefully Shay's ready to rock and take people on board pretty soon, because they may be coming. Oops, can I get this to snap on? I'm doing this off camera again. I keep hiding it behind the instructions. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, so it's in, and that's where we're going to leave it for today. I may hang on to this one and leave it until next month. I don't know. Either that or you'll see it on Friday. I haven't decided yet. In the meantime, thank you everybody for coming on in. I appreciate that. You know the drill. This is a stream weekend. We ride the train straight on into next person up. Let's make sure that they're ready for us, just by making sure that they're live, because I had the pop-ups disabled. Nope, it's all good. Let's see, refresh that one more time. Okay, so Sachet is ready to go. It says, stream starting soon. I caught her supposedly 20 seconds away. Let's just start that raid and get right on in there. So thanks everybody. If you're the type that likes emotes, they will be there. If you're the type that likes to leave tips and tricks, you can always catch me on Discord. And yeah, that's about the size of it. I will see you guys on the flip side. Have yourself a mischief managed, wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, and bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.